and call the public hearing for November 19, 2013, the Hammond City Council to order, please. Roll call.
Johnny Blunt.
Here.
Jason Hood.
Here.
Bobby Martin.
Here.
Lamar Marshall.
Here.
Mike Williams.
Here. Okay. First item on the public hearing, number 1, an ordinance granting to Atmos Energy Corporation, a Texas and Virginia corporation with its principal office in the city of Dallas, Dallas County, Texas, and its successors, and assigned franchise and rights to conduct in such city the business of acquiring, maintaining, constructing, laying, repairing, removing, replacing, installing, operating, and disposing of a gas system for the sale, transportation, and distribution of natural gas within and beyond the municipal boundaries of the city of and to the residents and businesses located therein for the light, heat, power, and the right of way to the present and future streets, roads, highways, alleys, bridges, public ways, and immovable property in such city and owned or controlled by such city for such purposes, prescribing the terms and conditions to which such franchise and rights are subject, and prescribing the terms of such franchise rights. Mayor Foster.
Mr. President, you just about read it all.
I'm tired.
Let me go back and give you a little background on this. I believe that the Atmos franchise agreement, first of all, let me say, as you know, with a number of utilities, we do have franchise agreements in place. The Atmos franchise agreement, which was actually the old Louisiana Gas Service, our franchise agreement with them actually expired, I believe it was in February of 2013. When they came to us and asked us about renewing the franchise agreement, one of the questions, of course, that I brought up immediately is the fact that the current franchise agreement with Atmos is at 2% franchise agreement. In looking at the other franchise agreements that we have in place, Entergy has a franchise agreement at 5%. Charter has a franchise agreement at 5%. And from a competitive standpoint, I think that it is fair and only fair that we bring Atmos up to something close to the other franchise agreements. Is this going to be a charge to our citizens? The answer to that is absolutely yes, because it is a line item that's put out on a bill that anybody that has gas service, natural gas service, will be charged. In looking at the gas bill for those of us, and I do have Atmos service at my house, so I can tell you that the bills have gone down significantly with the cost of natural gas being so low, and the projection is that it's going to stay low for a long time. That helps not just our direct bills from Atmos, but it also helps us with bills from Entergy, and anybody that has Entergy, and they have some gas-fired plants, and so the low gas rates actually help on Entergy bills as well. So it's our recommendation that we accept the franchise agreement that has been presented in conjunction with negotiations with Atmos, and this would include a 4% franchise fee. I will say that under the terms that Atmos has, that if there's any municipality that is allowed to receive a franchise fee greater than the 2%, then other municipalities have that same right under what's called the Most Favored Nations Clause to renegotiate their rate with Atmos as well. There is a representative, or two representatives here from Atmos that can answer any specific questions that you might have about the company itself. So if I may, Mr. President, may I introduce Carl Weber with Atmos Energy?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening.
Good evening. Carl, give us some kind of address for our record.
Certainly, I can give you my card.
Sure.
It's 101 Airline Drive in Beverly. It's, but yes.
That's good.
So I'm here to answer any questions. Again, as Mayor laid out, the previous franchise was 25 years long or something like that. We were a Louisiana Gas Service Company. It recently expired. And just through negotiating and talking with the mayor about the option for the city to go up to 4%. So, yes. So.
Mr. Carr, do you know what this would cost the average consumer?
We're going to give that information to the mayor because we have to pull the right numbers of how many active accounts we have in the city. We had a number, but we're not sure if that's a proper amount of customers in the incorporated area. But once we do that, we can give you a value. I know for a fact that in fiscal year 2012, at a 2% rate, that the city received $39,061.15 through the franchise fee collection. So at 4%, you'd be talking about double that. Again, that was based off of the gross receipts in 2012.
Are you satisfied?
But you want to look for per customer,
Oh, yeah.
We'll give you those numbers, yeah.
So I have a question. So why are we raising the franchise fee?
I think that's a question for me. Again, I think that if you look at the franchise fees that the other utilities are paying, they're paying 5% and 5%. So if you have someone that's getting gas service, it seems to me that it's only fair from a competitive comparison that the franchise fee be about the same, and 4% is less than 5%. So that's why we've negotiated the 4% rate.
I guess maybe.
Now, the question is, if the council chooses to leave it as it is, they can do so. But this franchise agreement, I believe, is for 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. And so we would be stuck with that rate for another 20 years.
Yeah, I guess I'm asking, there's no benefit to the company if they raise the franchise fee because so they're not requesting a raise, so is it being requested by the
Being
administration?
requested by the administration, that's correct. And there is no benefit. There's, from the company standpoint, it's a line item on the billing for them.
So is this I notice this is a resolution, so this doesn't go to public hearing before?
This is the public hearing.
So was it introduced for the last meeting?
Yes, sir.
I missed that. That's my mistake. I thought, I didn't know it was introduced at the last meeting.
I believe there were some questions that were raised at the last meeting as well. Some of these same questions that were asked tonight.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that part. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I was doing something else.
Okay, do we have any other questions from the council? I think I have. No, I have an audience member I know for sure that wants to ask a question. Okay, are there any questions from the audience?
We have not, as a state employee, we have not had an increase in our salaries in more than 5 years. The inflation rate is just killing us. We're not going to get raises. Those of us who are eligible to retire really cannot do so because we can't afford it. The only utility bill that I have right now that is reasonable is our gas bill. It does affect, but the lower gas bill affects our other utilities, just as was explained so well a few minutes ago. If the gas bills go up, then the other bills will have to go up accordingly. The percentage that we pay the lower percentage that we pay to the gas company is one of the things that keeps our bills lower. And the fact that we pay 5% or more to the other utilities is the reason those bills are also higher. I don't see that the city needs this increase as much as those of us who are hurting so much economically right now as individuals need the lower utility bills. So I would ask you to consider not requiring this additional percentage and doubling the percentage that is going to be, given to the city to be used by the administration for needs there. When every one of you know that we as individuals are going to be paying for this additional benefit to the city's budget. I just hope you will consider not asking for this double percentage and keeping it so that we can keep these lower rates. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I just want, for clarification, on those franchise fees, it's a pass-through, naturally, so whatever gets collected, goes directly to the city. I want to go back, Councilman Williams, and get specifics on the number of customers, so I can give you how much it was per customer in fiscal year 2012, to give you a precise. But to give you a sense of scale, I know in some areas we like 35 cents a month additional, 35 cents a month for a franchise fee in some areas. It depends, again, on the gross receipts for the year, the number of customers, and that sort of thing. So in some cases, it's about an additional, 20, 30, 40 cents, depending, again, on the size of the town and that sort of stuff. And, I just want to give you a sense of scale. But in terms of the rates remain the same. This is just an additional piece. I want to be clear about that. The franchise fees is strictly a pass-through. It's not connected to the rates. So.
How many customers in the city limits of Hammond do you think we might have around?
We want to verify that because it depends on, Hammond has a high concentration of natural gas users, and our numbers are very close to the population numbers, but we got to verify, make sure we pull the right numbers. We go back tomorrow and do that, and I'll send it to the mayor and make sure Councilman Williams gets those numbers.
And could you clarify about the comment that it will affect the light bills that the previous?
Oh, no. That isn't, franchise fees aren't connected to rates, so that's a whole different other thing. So it has no impact on anything other than it's just strictly a pass-through. So whatever is collected, that so many cents per month gets passed straight through to the city, and it has no bearing on the rates. By a general order of the Public Service Commission, we have to keep those two things separate. That's why it's line item separately.
Could you, I know this could get lengthy, and I know you're going to provide some information
Yes.
to Councilman Williams. Is it any way possible that you could tell me on a residential consumer what the worst case scenario of the franchise fee to that customer? Any idea of knowing that?
No, not off the top of my head, sir. Again, that was it. 36,000 was the fiscal year 2012.
Yeah.
That was the total for everyone. So I have to go back and verify the number of active accounts we have in the city to verify that. Yeah.
Can you clarify, the mayor mentioned something called favorite nations?
Oh, that's language where most favored nations language is, it's an ethics thing, and it's to be fair. So, for example, if the city of Hammond wants a 4%, do a 4% franchise fee, we have to go back and contact every other city in the state of Louisiana and offer them that same rate. Because a lot of them, franchises are all staggered. It could be 20 years, 30 years, or longer, and they expire at different rates. But we have to go back and notify every town that this is, Hammond wants a 4%, and so we're going to offer you that same opportunity. And it's a way of keeping it equitable and fair for all of the towns.
Higher or lower?
It's an option. We say that if the city of Hammond decides on a 4% fee, I got to contact everybody else and let them know that the city of Hammond decided on a 4%. So if they're lower than that, they have the option to go to 4%. And they also have the option to go lower. So it's on the discretion of the administration.
So in reality, and Mayor, I'm just asking, it may not be like that for 20 years. Is that an accurate statement?
You can go in and call for discussion at any point during that 20-year term.
To reduce it?
Yeah.
Not to go up?
That's
never been a...
I think I understand what Councilman Williams is going. If another municipality negotiated a rate, then you in turn, if 2 years down the road, Baton Rouge negotiates 5%. I'm making this
right. I see what you're saying. I understand that.
And you have to.
Then I have to call you guys. Exactly. I have to call the city of Hammond and offer the same thing. It's by that highest rate, right? Exactly. And throughout our territory, the highest we have is 4%. throughout the state of Louisiana.
So I have two questions. So,
Before you answer
sure,
the question,
sure, not a problem.
could we do some, could we do some simple math? Okay, the increase would be $40,000 per year, and these are rounded numbers. $40,000 per year. The city of Hammond has 6,000 connections for water. Not all of our water connections have gas connections, so let's round it to 5,000 users. I think that'd probably be pretty close. So $40,000 divided by 5,000 users is $8 per year per user. That would be 75 cents a month, roughly. Using some quick and dirty math.
That's relatively low user. I'm not going to 5,000.
Well,
We have 6,000 water users. So, and I know Villa West does not have gas service. I don't know the other larger subdivisions, but I do know that there are several pretty large subdivisions that don't
Talking
have gas.
possibly less than $1 a month on average
correct.
for the increase, possibly.
And what we will do is this, should the council, if the council wants to table it to get that number, if it's important, we'll be glad to do that. But we can have that number, and if it's any more than that, Mr. President, what we'll do is not sign the agreement and bring it back. Or we can table it, whichever you prefer, if that number is important. I just want to, Councilman, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mayor, you're fine. I mean, I just want to make one, and going along with what you just said, I think that, I know we're not talking huge sums of money, but for all intents and purposes, any amount of money, what might be small to us could be large to some people. We have to understand that. And if we're going to do that, I think we need to really have a real number that we're voting on. I just don't want to be in a position to have to vote on a number that could be right or could be wrong. So I would think that, to do due diligence, we should really find the right number.
Yeah, and we'll go back first thing in the morning and pull the appropriate active accounts. And based off of that fiscal year 2012 number, we'll give you a projection off of that. So.
What's the pleasure of the council?
This is a public hearing, this is no action.
Oh, I'm sorry. So long. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I forgot to state my name is Louise Bostic, 112 Elm Drive. And the fact that this is a rate, that this is a fee and not a rate, does clarify things considerably. Thank you, Mr. Williams, and others who made these inquiries in advance. The question that I have is, because of this fee that at 50 cents per customer per month, this is quite a lot of money when it's all accumulated and sent to the corporation. What is likely to happen regarding rates for that additional money, those additional monies that you all are paying out in fees? Is it likely to affect the rates? In other words, you have an expense,
right,
and you've got to get it back. I mean, you're not in this for charity, and so.
Right. If you can imagine two different buckets. Sure. Yeah. If you can imagine two different buckets, one is for the rates. That's for the gas natural gas you pay for. And the other one is just a collection. It's giving us access to public right-of-way so we can run new pipe and do work there. And that's what the franchise fee is. It's totally separate from rates. So whatever happens in the rate world doesn't affect that franchise fee amount. And so
I'm wondering how you're going to get your money back, I guess.
We don't get the money. See, that's a pass-through. It just goes straight to the city. That doesn't even, we collect it to give to whatever incorporated area we serve. It's the nature of franchise fees. So it's not considered part of the rate, it's not even part of the rate discussion. We don't profit from it or benefit from it. It's strictly, we collect it and pass it through. And they audit us. They have your own auditors where we'll get an audit request and we'll go back and go to the books and show everything just collected gets passed through. So it has no connection to rates and we don't profit from it, and it's strictly passed through. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, we're going to move right into our regular meeting for November 19th, 2013. Roll call, please.
Johnny Blunt.
Here.
Jason Hood.
Here.
Bobby Martin.
Here.
Lamar Marshall.
Here.
Mike Williams.
Mr. Dick, would you ask to pray for us, please?
We address our Almighty Creator in thanksgiving this evening by saying we are very grateful for the graces that you have spread upon our community. We are especially grateful for the men and women who devote their life to public service, those serving on our council tonight, our firemen, our policemen, our EMTs, and all those volunteers and the great organizations we have in the city to reach out a hand to help those less fortunate than themselves. During this season of Thanksgiving, we especially ask that we all find it in our hearts to turn our attention to God and say thank you for this wonderful nation where we are free to pray in public tonight, where we enjoy so many other freedoms. While we have challenges, we still have much to be thankful for. We especially thank you for this good city of Hammond and its many good citizens. And we pray that you continue to spread your benevolent, protective hands over us and those we love. We close our prayer praying for peace and for the safe return of the men and women who defend our great freedoms both at home and abroad. As we pray for these things in the name of the one who saves us. Amen.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Are there any new businesses in the audience that would like to be recognized? Okay. Reports. Do we have any council reports?
Yes, Mr. President, I have one I'd like to share.
Yes, sir.
Since October 2012, Louisiana Spirit has been providing free crisis counseling and other services to those who were affected by Hurricane Isaac. Here in the Taj Mahal Parish, especially the city of Hammond, soldiers, I would call them, members of Louisiana Spirit, have gone to visit a majority, if not all, of those who are survivors of Hurricane Isaac. In the audience, we have two of those great soldiers, and I'm going to ask them to come forward, please. Three? You got three? Bring them on up, please. They have gone to practically every street, every alley, wherever there was a house that was affected by Hurricane Isaac. And for that, we want to offer this proclamation that reads, a proclamation in recognition of Louisiana Spirit. Whereas many individuals that suffer loss may be likely to experience emotional response, including anger, fatigue, loss of appetite, sleeplessness, depressions, and inability to concentrate, increased alcohol or drug use, and whereas the state of Louisiana has experienced several catastrophes wherein its citizens sustain significant losses, and whereas Louisiana Spirit has provided free crisis counseling services to 5 parishes under the Florida Parish Human Services Authority region as a direct result of Hurricane Isaac, with coordination of the program by Options for Independence of Houma. And whereas the program comes to a close as of November the 24th, 2013, and whereas we, the people of this area, owe a great deal of gratitude for this program and the individuals who gave of their time, effort, and resources to assist others who have suffered losses. Therefore, I, Mason H. Foster, Mayor of the City of Hammond, do hereby encourage all citizens of Hammond to recognize the efforts of the Louisiana Spirit Program and to continue to support all those who may be suffering the effect of emotional stress brought on by disaster, now and in the future. Thus proclaim in Hammond, Louisiana, this 19th day of November, 2013. Signed, Mason H. Foster, Mayor, City of Hammond. Thank you. I'd like to get a picture of the group.
And Councilman Martin, request a picture.
Member of that,
Yes, I am a member, and
so it's
I have,
four.
yes, it's 4. We have seen every kind of dog.
Am I taking the photo? Okay, don't mind.
So we're going to present this to you.
Remember my shoe this way just a little bit, Councilman. All right. Big start of smiles. 3, 2. One more. 3, 2.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Councilman Martin, does that include that?
Yes.
Any other?
Yeah, I have a report. Mr.
Yes,
President.
sir.
We had a chance to meet with several residents on Hook Drive in the last couple of weeks, and Mayor Foster also attended the meeting with me, and we had a very productive time talking about some of the challenges on Hook Drive and things that we can do to improve the quality of life in that particular area. We had homeowners, we had landlords for single dwellings, we had landlords for multi-home dwellings that all participated. And immediately the mayor made some fixes for the residents that they're very appreciative of. We also entertained the idea of doing one of the problems that they have is the trash issue on Hook Drive. And it's something that I know Vic, with Keep Hammond Beautiful, has a lot of concerns about as well. And so the discussion went to, can we maybe do a pilot program with using some of these these trash cans that are used in the parish area to maybe pilot that in Hammond. Mayor Foster was in agreement with that, and I think he's since made some contacts. We haven't gotten a final answer back yet, but I'm pretty sure that's going to happen, and then our goal is going to be to pilot a program on Hook Drive in January 2014 and see how that really improves the quality of that neighborhood. We'll work through the council to see what we have to do to get the support that we need to make sure that the pilot goes well. I just want to thank Mayor Foster for his support and attending the meeting with the residents, and we had over 12, you think, Mayor Foster, about 12 people there, and it was very well attended. They're very, very appreciative. So I look forward to giving you more updates on that as we get closer to a plan on how we're going to do the pilot on Hook Drive. So that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Any other reports from the council? Mayor?
Speaking of trash, we had the trash bash on Saturday, November 16th, headed up by our own Vic Couvion, who's here. We had a tremendous amount of help. We had 72 bags of trash that were picked up. 45 people worked for a total of 96 hours worth, about $2,000 for the city of Hammond, but most of all, it's helping to clean up our city. So thank you to the Keep Hammond Beautiful Committee and everybody that volunteered. Want to just also, let me just throw out the name Home Depot. Vic, I saw that they had a number of people that came in their orange shirts and this is from the distribution center.
Well, I'll make this very brief. They do a wonderful job. They come out to almost all of our cleanups, and this Saturday they brought a very large group, and I challenge them to take on North Cherry Street. Those of you who go that way, that is an abomination. It's an eyesore and an embarrassment to the city. They managed to do it from the railroad tracks to the first bridge. After that, it's still an abomination, but up to that point, they did a wonderful job in the deep ditches. I always give them the toughest assignment, and they always come through. We sent them to Edwin Neal West one time, but that was an impromptu dump over there. I think they picked up 7 tires and 94 bags, or some ridiculous number. But they really, Home Depot has really done a great job for us.
Thank you. Couple other things, Mr. President, to the council, to the public. We had a groundbreaking ceremony yesterday at the Hammond Shore Regional Airport for the Air Control Tower. It was a phenomenal event. Senator Landrieu, Major General Curtis was there. Brad Brandt, who is the Aviation Division Chair of DOTD for the state of Louisiana. They all did presentations, and there was about 120 people that came to this event. It was a fantastic kickoff for the tower. We will have, I assume, Mr. President, lighting in the park. That's before, I think, the next council meeting on Friday. No, maybe not. On Friday, the 6th of December. No, we'll have a council meeting between now and then. But it is almost Christmas time. We're working diligently to get those lights ready. Before the next council meeting on Monday, Councilman Blunt, you'll be interested in this, on Monday, December 12th, we will have a presentation from the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas for a grant that we worked very diligently with First Guaranty Bank on for $500,000. This money will be used as match money for a group called Terrace of Hammond to redo the old Dag Reed Apartments, which is now Oak Creek Apartments, whatever it is over there. And this is going to really make those apartments over there a first-class facility. This group is headed by some people that have been here to the council before, R.B. Smith and Keith Richardson. They're the ones that did the subdivision out on J.W. Davis Drive, along with the housing initiative for the senior citizens. So we're really excited about that. They were having some difficulties getting that last bit of money, last bit of seed money. So the presentation will be on December 2nd at noon at First Guaranty Bank. So Councilman, I know you for sure want to be there. The rest of the council is invited, and we'll see about the public. Councilman, you didn't mention anything about the Lincoln Park Initiative Saturday. You want to mention that?
Yes, we'll be meeting this Saturday at 10 o'clock at Lincoln Park Baptist Church with Lacey and the mayor, and I don't know who else will be there, but I know we'll have citizens from Lincoln Park. We're going to begin the process of discussing the playground implementation that is scheduled to be built in March 2014. So if you guys aren't doing anything on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, join us over at Lincoln Park Baptist Church, because that's where we'll be. Thanks for reminding me on that.
And the last thing, Mr. President, line up. No more said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, approval of minutes?
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Okay, resolutions, new business. Number 1, resolution authorizing a wholesale dealer permit to Gnarly Barley Brewery located at 1709 Corbin Road. The owner is Gnarly Barley Brewing LLC. Ms. Chen.
Good afternoon. This is a little different than what I normally bring to y'all. Normally what I'm bringing to you is a retail dealer in alcohol who's selling to our general public. And, you know, we always have to give them the speech about what they can and can't do and underage and all that good stuff. Well, these good folks, they are manufacturers. So they will be manufacturing beer, and it will be wholesaled to the distributors, who will in turn then sell it to the grocery stores, the restaurants, and the bars. So there is no retail sale of any kind from this facility. It is strictly a manufacturing of the product. I am asking for a conditional with, we're waiting on a health inspection. Other than that, everything seems to be in order. I believe they've already gone to the state. The state is waiting on a health inspection as well. So I'm asking for it to be approved as long as the health inspection is met, and I don't see a problem with that. They look like they're pretty well on target, and the owners are here tonight. So if y'all have any questions, I'm going to bring them up, and they may want to explain the process or exactly what's going on downtown. It's kind of new for our area, and I'm a little excited about it. So y'all come on up.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm Carrie Caramanta.
Good evening, I'm Zach Caramanta. We're 1709 Corbin Road.
I have a question. How long have you been in business?
I've been brewing for a little over 5 years now. I've been doing consultant work for a local brewery for about a year and a half, and basically volunteering as much as possible to learn the business.
How many people are you expecting to employ?
At the end of the first year, we're probably going to have about 5 employees. We're going to start with just a couple of us and help from family. But based on our business plan, by the end of year 3 to 4, we should probably be looking at around 15 to 20.
So do you sell, I'm just curious because I just think it's interesting, will you be selling your beer to local restaurants or?
Well, in Louisiana, we work on a 3-tiered system, so we manufacture the beer and then we sell it to a distributor. A lot of you may have seen Champagne Beverage on the side of the interstate. That's going to be one of our distributors. They basically purchase the product from our brewery, pick it up, they take it to their warehouse, and then they do the sales and distribution to the public.
So brand, what brand is it?
The brand is actually a new brand. It's Gnarly Barley Brewing, which we've created and spent the last 2 years basically trying to get as much publicity as possible towards it and create some sort of following, which we've done fairly well. We've been in over a dozen publications so far, so it seems to be.
I like beer, so that's.
It sounds like you better make sure you got good locks on. Councilman Marshall might be swimming in hop.
The beer styles that we'll be doing will be considered artisanal beer styles, so it's more reminiscent of the wine industry, whereas it's not your party beers. It's more specific, specialized beers.
Is there dark beer or do you have different?
There's a range. There's a lighter beer, and then all the way through to the darker beers. But everything from amber to the hoppier beers, and everything in between.
Who came up with the name?
It rhymes. It sounds good. So yeah, that's all. That's all.
And then it turned it into.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Your ingredients to make this.
Like KFC tell you their ingredients.
I just want to know, will you be able to use some of the local farmers or whomever?
Yeah, well, one thing with the farmers, actually, we'll be donating our used grain to farmers for cattle feed or pig feed. So it's a big thing because it helps out the farmers.
Yeah, talking about the base.
And it also helps us out and whatnot. But as far as local ingredients, we have a few things that we're working on to try to use. Maybe some strawberries and whatnot.
Okay. But the 4 ingredients in beer are hops, yeast, and grain and water. So yeah, we'll mostly be using that.
Barley and hops they don't do well around here, so that's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's hard to grow.
Any other beer questions?
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for.
What's that?
Not open on Sundays.
Well, it's
most breweries. It's no retail, but most breweries are closed on Sundays. Most breweries are closed on Sundays. Yeah.
I'll second this.
Councilman Martin.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Good luck.
Subject to inspection. Thank you.
Okay, number 2, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with PTS Solutions for a virtual filing cabinet paperless filing system at a cost of $30,200 plus $5,148 for the annual maintenance agreement for a total cost of $35,348. Sammy Richard.
I'm not Ernest. Chief asked me to come and talk to you about this. This is for some new software for the police department so that they can continue on their paperless track. Specifically with moving to the new building, they want to try and curb some of having to create more paper when they get over there and have to store it. So this software integrates with their current software that they use through PTS that allows them to start attaching scanned documents and no longer have to keep the paper.
Sammy, is this not going to allow them to do the paperless ticketing system as well? Is this the one that interfaces with the court system?
No, this is a separate one. The paperless ticketing is already in implementation stage right now, so we've got a couple little punch list items on that, and they'll be moving along with that. It's a separate system. Any questions?
Any questions? Coming from police, budget, millage?
I believe it's coming from the village.
Millage, yeah. Any other questions? Pleasure of the council.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Thank you.
Number 3, a resolution to renew the City of Hammond employee health insurance benefits package. Mr. Powell.
Does everybody have a packet? I know Whitney said she's...
It's in the folder. That's it.
Okay. Item number 3 on the folder.
Okay, Henry Powell, 110 West Morris, Hammond. What I'd like to go over tonight is the renewal of the benefit package for the employees. You'll see on that first page that you have 3 different columns, one representing the current plan, the second column representing the renewal that was offered by Blue Cross Blue Shield, and the third option being labeled option 1 is a competitive proposal from United Healthcare, which, after meeting with the insurance committee, we're proposing to make a move to United Healthcare from Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross Blue Shield came in at a 24.7% rate increase. United Healthcare offered a pretty much apples and apples plan for a renewal at a 13.5% rate increase. So almost half. The reason for the rate increase is simply dollars in versus dollars out. This year you had a significant loss ratio compared to years before. With 2.4 from September to August, 2.4 million paid in, 2.7 million paid out. So we tried to extend it 2 more months to see if the claims would improve, and they actually got worse. In September and October, we took in 410,000. We paid out 641,000. We had 64 claims this year over $10,000. 60 of those claims are employees or dependents who are still active on the plan, versus last year where we had 47 claims over $10,000. And only 5 of those were over $50,000. This year, 10 of those were over $50,000. So your high claimants accounted, 64 individuals or dependents accounted for $1.7.5 million of claims experience of the 2.6 million total. So that was the reason for the increase. So United Healthcare, thank goodness they were in the market for the business. They came in and gave us a pretty good proposal. Of that 13.5%, 5.1% of that is what we would call PACA fees or Obama fees that are built into the plan to cover the cost of the exchanges and such. So bottom line is, had we not had to pay the fees, we would have been somewhere in the neighborhood of 8%, 7% increase. And we went back and looked. In the past 10 years, we did a rate analysis. Over the past 10 years, we've actually averaged 7% rate increase every single year. So, and medical inflation is between 8 and 12%.
Okay. Do we have any council questions?
So, I think I see the out-of-pocket is going to go up by $2,000 per employee, per individual, from $4,000 to $6,000. And family goes from $8,000 to $12,000. That's $4,000.
No, sir. If you look at the things in the in-network column, see where it says in-network and out-of-network? The out-of-pocket actually remains the same.
Well, what I'm looking at here is current plan 2 says out-of-pocket is $4,000, if I'm looking at it correctly. And it says $6,000 under the United Healthcare plan and $8,000 for family to $12,000 for family under the is that right? Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, he's talking about the second.
Oh, you're looking at the second plan.
The second.
Yes, sir. There's two options.
Is that the one you're taking now?
There's two.
Yeah, he's looking at the second option the city has.
We have two plans in the city.
So what are we voting on?
We have 319 employees covered under the plan, the option 1.
Where is that?
First page.
First page.
Your pages.
Okay, right.
There you go.
And you have 18 employees covered under the option 2. I calculated everything on option 1, assuming the worst, because option 2 is cheaper. The only employees who pretty much are covered under the option 2 are the city court. City court is on option 2, and the city of Hammond employees, for the most part, are all on option 1.
So the premium goes up $80 a month. Am I saying that right? It's from $525 to $605
to $605.
How much of that's covered by the city versus the employee?
The city, that's the city's portion. The 605 is the city's portion, and then if you look below that, the employees would pay that difference. And if you go down to the bottom of the page here, it shows what the employees would have to pay. That the increase to the employees
would be
if you have a spouse, you'd pay additional $12.90. If you have children, you actually would pay $9 less, and a family would pay $21.99.
So I just have one more question. From the standpoint of when we poll, when we look at claims experience and all the money that goes into the bucket, and it doesn't matter if it's major medical or whatever, it's just a total dollar versus total dollars paid versus total dollars collected. How much do you think that change that we made is affecting the amount of money that we pay into, in this case, Blue Cross Blue Shield? Because if we're taking the money off the top that we've done with this new plan,
the immediate care?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That money isn't being measured against our claims responsibility. What impact do you think is that having on the claims experience?
Well, your Benny card funding has reduced about $3,000 on an average for the last 3 months, okay? So Obviously, somebody's using the immediate care. We've had 60, in July, August, and September, we had 67 immediate care visits, okay? So that's 67 visits that didn't go against our experience.
But it's also money that doesn't go into the claims expense.
Into the claims pool, correct.
Which makes our percentage higher on the back end.
But what has happened is, the main reason is the 64 large claims. That's what's driving it at this point. Last year, you only had 47, but you had $300,000 or $400,000 claims. This year, we didn't have one claim over 100,000 for the first time in years, but they were all the small claims. So that's what's driving it. And again, of those 64, 60 of them are still on plan, so they're still continuing to drive the cost.
You answered my question. Thank you.
I have one question, Henry. So make sure I'm looking at this right. The option 1, United Healthcare, is the same as the current plan 2, except for the premiums down at the bottom, at the very bottom of the page. Did I understand that right?
The Plan 2 option with United Healthcare is a $2,000 deductible, but they have doctor co-pays, and it's an 80-20 plan. The option 1 UHC is the high deductible plan where there are no co-pays for doctors. However, with the United plan, we were able to get a prescription drug card where the employees now do not have to pay first dollar for those prescriptions. So it doesn't go against their high deductible. So that should save some money also on the funding. So with the current plan, if you go get a $300 prescription and say it's a mid-tier drug, you pay $300. With the United plan, if it's a mid-tier drug, you pay $30.
On this sheet right here, which one is this? What you guys, the committee is recommending?
Yeah.
This?
That one plus the other.
You read some
Oh, I
of
missed that. My bad. Okay. Right here. Okay.
You have two options there, and both the options are in place now.
Okay.
But you only have 18 people covered on the option 2, but that's all city court. So any Hammond employee, they can pick and choose whatever plan they want.
Okay. I understand. I missed the sheet.
Okay.
I'm satisfied. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. I just want this for the record. Henry, let me ask you a question. How many dependents do we have? We have 3 in the city itself now. We have 315 bodies covered. Is that correct? How many of those have dependent coverage? Do you have that number?
Yes, sir. It's if you look on there, you see you have 11 people that have spouses covered. You have 12 employees who have children covered, and you have 39 that have family coverage.
So 23 and 39, so that's roughly 60, 65, 70 people.
Correct.
Under Obamacare, is it not a requirement for a person that's employed to cover their dependents under a plan that is sponsored by an agency? Do I have that wrong?
Well,
and the next
we can
question,
turn on CNN and see what the requirement is right now.
And the next question is what happens to the 200 and some odd people that don't cover? Of course, I'm assuming that everybody's married. What happens to those people that are not covered under the health care law?
Well,
do you have any idea?
It's my understanding that what they call the individual mandate stayed in place. The employer mandate did not, which means an individual is supposed to buy medical insurance. So anybody who has a dependent that is not covered under this plan is, not required to have this insurance, but they are required to buy insurance through this law. If they do not, they're fined $95 or 2% of their income. So the unfortunate part of this and the unfortunate part about the law is that if someone does work here and they do have access to affordable care, which this is, none of their dependents are eligible for any type of subsidy through the government. So they would have to purchase insurance at the full price.
Mr. Mayor, if I can, just kind of clarify that a little bit more, Henry. Typically, an adult who doesn't cover their dependent means that that adult is making an income level that allows that child to qualify for Medicaid.
Sometimes it does.
In most cases,
Sometimes
in most cases, that's typically why an adult will not cover their child. Because it only makes sense if you have health care that you would cover your child. But if you make an income level that allows that child to be eligible for Medicaid, typically the adult will choose not to cover the child because they're going to get benefits through the Medicaid system. So that's typically why that doesn't happen.
Now, I don't mean to prolong this discussion, but isn't the Medicaid portion perhaps going away because our state has chosen not to participate?
They chose not to participate in the expansion.
But Medicaid, what that does, and just because I'm in this, I deal with this every day. We have the Medicaid expansion is designed to cover people who are eligible based on income level, which means they would be below the federal, at the federal poverty level. They would become eligible for Medicaid. Currently, those people in that income bracket are not eligible for Medicaid because Medicaid is pretty much for children and women who are pregnant or if you have a disability. So typically a male who makes $11,000 a year or $12,000 a year has no insurance. So the Medicaid expansion law would cover those type of individuals. And since the governor chooses not to accept those funds, those people will still be without any type of health insurance through Medicaid, but they'll use a charity system if that's available.
Well, my
Is that pretty
concern is
accurate?
for those 250 or some odd
258,000
employees
people.
that have no dependent coverage.
You actually do have a high
They're going to
number.
be left hanging out there somewhere.
You have a high number of dependents covered based on ratio. I mean, you really do. Because some spouses have coverage at other jobs, things like that.
That's a possibility.
So, but I mean, based on the numbers, you do, it's pretty high compared to others.
Henry, one last question that I have, please, sir. And again, we need to be sure that everybody understands this. Under United Healthcare's program, Blue Cross had a very good working relationship with the hospitals to maintain costs. Is there a cost containment available through the United Healthcare similar to what Blue Cross had so that we can make sure that our claims experiences stay down as much as possible?
I believe Mr. Marshall will back me up on this. United Healthcare has significant discounts in place.
It's bad for them, but
yes,
for us.
and I think he probably sees that. I mean, they're one of the largest. They are the largest insurer in the country, so they have a lot of clout. They do have significant discounts. Yes.
Okay.
Henry, I have a question. One question. When we had United Healthcare before, we had an employee assistance program. Do they still offer that?
I'm not sure, Mr. Rowe. I can check into it.
One last. So how does that change if we're moving to a new plan there now through the Affordable Care Act? There are a lot of new things that will become available for the employees as preventative services. Do you have, how well we position ourselves for those type of things? All the way to,
that is, everything now is included in this policy because you are going non-grandfathered from grandfather.
Right.
So everything that's
all the new benefits.
Everything that's in the ACA is included in the plan now. And you are fully compliant, plan-wise and premium-wise, with the requirements.
Any other questions?
And Jason, before we make a motion, I just want to make sure everybody understands we still do the Benny card funding. You had a maximum exposure this year of $483,000. You funded $259,000, and you spent $177,000, which is about 10% less than you spent last year.
And that stays in
that stays with you guys. Correct. So you only used about 37% of your funds, so you're doing great on that. The dental insurance had a 4.62% rate increase. Of that, 2.5% were Affordable Care Act taxes or fees, which was included. We did shop this out also, and nobody could beat that rate. And the life insurance that the city provides, it's still under a 2-year rate guarantee. So that would be the full package.
Okay. It's a pleasure.
Motion to approve.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
May I just thank Henry and his staff and Loretta and her staff. They have had, I don't know how many meetings on this. I've met with Henry myself 4 or 5 times on this. I know that the committee met with him on an ongoing basis, so I thank the committee as well. This was something that was not just drawn up and presented. Henry went and fought for the city of Hammond. I saw some of the initial proposals that came in, and after he scraped me off of the floor, he did tell me that he would be going out and searching for other benefit packages. So I just want to say thank you to Henry, Loretta, and everybody that's worked so hard on getting this. It is an increase. It's going to cost our city, which is ultimately going to cost our citizens. But I truly believe that we got the best deal that we could get.
And I will say they do, Ms. Loretta does a great job with this. She does.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Number 4, a resolution to approve transferring $5,000 from Administration Training and Education 100-520649, $5,000 from Administration Maintenance Building Fund 100-530143, $10,000 from Administration Utility 100-520649, $5,000 from Investigation Maintenance and Equipment 300-530000, $10,000 from Investigation Vehicle and Gas 300-540160, $7,000 from Patrol Maintenance Equipment, $530,000, and that's not the monetary, that's the fund number, and $8,000 from Patrol Supplies and Uniforms, 500-540-153, for a total of $50,000 to Police Department Building Improvements, 429, 20,000-55701 41-31305. Mayor Foster.
Mr. President, to the council, to the public, we did take bids, which will be taken under advisement under number 5. We were short in the total appropriated money for the police station remodeling project. We asked Chief Duvall if he would to go in and look and see whether or not he had any funds that he could apply towards this project. Honestly, I was thinking that he would take it out of court-awarded fees, but after he met with Larry Francis and the finance department, they came up with these numbers that they are recommending to be moved towards this project. The reason it is coming to the council is 2 reasons. Number 1 is it's greater than $25,000, and number 2, it's going from the general fund to a building fund. We do recommend approval.
Okay, are there any questions from the council on this item? Or public questions or comments? It's a pleasure to approve. Second.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Number 5, a resolution to ratify and award bids received October 11, 2013 for police station project. Good afternoon.
I'm David Hoover with Gatsby Banks and Architects. What's your address, please, David? It is
This was about 2156.
Let me pull up here. Yeah, 1007 West Almond Street, Suite G. I didn't get my previous report. I know how to get there. The project is the old Hancock Bank building over here. We put a 2,500 square foot addition onto it, and that's what had bid on 11/5. There were 6 bids submitted, and the low bid was received from Wainwright Construction. The base bid was $458,900, and there was an ad alternate for a sign on both sides for $3,000, for a total bid of $461,900. We discussed the bid amount with Wainwright Construction, and they were okay with the amount that was submitted. The project was also submitted and approved by FB&C, and comments on the bid documents in process were incorporated into the documents. We recommend awarding the bid to Wainwright Construction. Also, construction time is 180 days from notice to proceed, which we tentatively set up for Monday, November 25th, which would also be the pre-construction meeting. If we do go with notice to proceed on Monday, then it would be completed. Substantial completion will be on May 23rd, 2014.
Questions?
And it's my understanding that Capital Outlay, Office of Facilities Planning, has approved the bid and the bid process and the bid. Is that correct, Lacey?
Yes, that is correct.
Looking at the bid tabulation sheet, Mr. Bobby, you'd be happy to know, it looks like Wainwright is the only local contractor that bid, and they are right there. Right. Pleasure of council.
So moved.
Second.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Thank you.
All right, final adoption of ordinance. Before I read this godforsaken ordinance, do we have any idea of on the table this by any chance?
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Should we go read?
I feel good about it.
Andre, should he read it?
Yeah. Refer the public to first item under number 10, final adoption.
You will have to read it again.
Yeah. Okay, vote please.
Johnny Blunt.
Aye.
Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams.
Aye.
Motion approved to table.
Okay, introduction of ordinance and set public hearing. Number 1, introduction of an ordinance for the council to declare surplus items below and to be sold on govdeals.com. There is a, Mr. Peters is here. Hey, Mr. Peters. There is a list attached, which I will not read. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. These are all items that have come to us, and we are bringing them to the council so we can introduce them and discuss them. I'll bring them to a public discussion, I guess, next meeting, but they're ready now to be ready to be put on good deals for selling.
Okay. Any questions?
Do the tractors work?
I'm not certain.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved. Public hearing is set for December 3rd.
Thank you, Ms. Arnold. Number 2, introduction of an ordinance for final approval of Thames subdivision, lots 2A, 3A, 4A, and 5A, acceptance of dedication of all public improvements, acceptance of dedication of the extension of West Robert Street 60-foot, 100.05 feet right-of-way, acceptance of performance bond letter of credit for the construction of all public improvements located at 1010 West Robert Street in accordance with amended final plat by Andrew N. Fowler and construction plans by Duplantis Design Group zoned R11 and Hierarchy Overlay District SDF 2013-8-3 recommended approval with conditions by Planning Commission. Mr. Taylor.
It's a subdivision. It was approved previously several years ago. Their acceptance lapsed. They didn't start construction within a year, so they're back asking for approval of the conditions. They have a drainage servitude to get their drainage, and we wanted the neighbor that the servitude was running through a property to sign off on it before recommending to approve, and that's all been done. All the comments have been addressed, so recommended to approve.
Second.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved. Public hearing is set for December 3rd.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Come into class or stay in the whole time?
All in favor?
Thank you very much.